Just when America has reached a breaking point with division, visionary influencer Danny Benson's "I'm Proud of You, Sis, Bro" movement taps into the pulse and heartbeat of a culture radically torn. But this loving mom's voice of reason and calm has received national recognition.
How'd you balance having your children and always traveling with the Yankee organization?
When I became a dad, I said that I would always love like a mother.
I feel like I have to try certain things or act a different way because I know some people or some kids.
So join Danny Benson as she celebrates her special guests on her show and highlights their gifts and contributions to our world.
Hi, everyone. Hi, my name is Danny Benson. I'm host of "I'm Proud of You, Sis." Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and follow and comment. And you could always DM me on my social handles, Danny Benson, or "I'm Proud of You, Sis." If you want to be on the guest of my show or invite someone that you want to give their flowers to come on my show that you're very proud of. But thank you for joining me. I so appreciate each and every one of you. Today's topic is dear to my heart. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I have Lexy Mealing here. She is a breast cancer survivor, and one of the reasons why I want women to know to definitely go and get your breast checked and get those mammograms done, especially after, depending on if you are susceptible of getting breast cancer, meaning that it's genetically in your family. Get it done as early as possible, because my little sister got breast cancer when she was only 28 years old. Who would have known? She was in remission. And at 34, she got it back again. And this time it was worse because it was stage 4. She didn't expect it to come back. She thought it was done with. But unfortunately, she died because it metastasized to her whole body, even though she did cut her breast off, did take off her lymph nodes. But the miracle is the fact that my niece was, she was pregnant with my niece when she found out, and she decided to not want to abort her child because she felt that the gift was from God. And unfortunately, her life was ended because she was not able to have chemotherapy when she was pregnant with my niece, her daughter. So I dedicate the show to my sister, Sandra Tracy, and all of the breast cancer survivors and women who have succumbed to having breast cancer and dying from it. So I'm so proud to have Miss Lexy Mealy here, because I just want to hear her story. With prevention, with getting checked, with getting mammograms done, we can catch this disease early. So I urge everyone, even if you are checking yourself every single day, please still get those mammograms done, because they're very sensitive and they could pick up things that maybe you can't pick up. So thank you, Lexy, for coming on my show. And Lexy is also partnered with Making Strides Against Breast Cancer of Long Island. She is an advocate for breast cancer survivors. Also, she mentors, and she basically pours her strength into people who are either first getting diagnosed, who are scared, people who are in the middle of getting cancer treatment and you're still scared, and even the people who are in remission and is still scared because it might come back. I don't even know how that feels. I don't even know how my sister felt. But Lexy, tell me your story, please.
Thank you so much, Danny, for having me on your show. It is an honor and a pleasure to be with you this evening. My story started 20 years ago, actually, when I was working at a doctor's office and I just saw so many women with the diagnosis of breast cancer, and I wanted to do something about it. So I had a luncheon from my family and friends. I got all my information from American Cancer Society. I had a luncheon for them. I had all the information, told them, educated them, told them about the importance of mammograms, self breast exams. And God was just setting me up because it's nice to talk about it, but it's different when you go through the journey yourself. Fast forward, 2017, I had a breast reduction. 2018, like some women, I didn't go for my mammogram. 2019, they saw some changes that they said, when women have breast reduction, it's common. Just come back in 6 months. 2020, the world shut down. I had no signs and symptoms of anything. I went to go see my primary care in January, and she said, it's time for you to go for your follow-up. And I said, yeah. Now, I can speak for myself, but some women, we're the last person to take care of ourselves. Self-care, sometimes we're at the bottom of the list. We're doing so much for our family and for our children. And when it comes time for us to go to do those routine, wellness checks, the mammogram sometimes is at the bottom of the list. So I waited until March because I was like, I'll do it. Finally went for it. They saw something on the sonogram. They wanted me to have a biopsy, and I had some further testing, MRI, and I found out on March 30th of 2021, I had stage 1A right breast cancer, HER2 positive, and I had no signs and symptoms. That's why it's so important to have your mammograms, because it's only by God's grace that I'm here today. And I thank God that He kept me through 2020, because the tumor could have grown to God knows how big, but it was only by His grace and His mercy that it was it was early, and it was in the right breast, even though I had 3 biopsies done at once, which was really hard to do, to go through. And I decided that I wanted to have a double mastectomy with a deep flap, meaning that they used the fat from my belly to make my breasts. And I was like, ooh, a tummy tuck. That's how I thought about it. I was looking at the blessing in it. I was like, this is great. I can get rid of all this. I can use my own tissue. I don't have to worry about, expanders and putting something foreign in my body and going for more.
My sister had that. My sister had, because she had double mastectomy. And it was so painful because then she had to put this metal thing in her and they had to keep expanding it. And like the pain that she was going through to slowly expand her breast so she can have room to, I think she opted for breast implants.
Yes.
So
yes, expanders. Everybody's journey is different, because some people don't have the extra, fat on their body. So they do have to go that route. So I underwent 3 surgeries. I had my main surgery, double mastectomy with a deep flap, and I had 2 reconstructive surgeries with Dr. Susan Palesci did my mastectomy, and Dr. David Light through NIBRA. He was my breast reconstructive surgeon, which I love my whole medical team, but he actually transformed my body back to my new norm.
But first of all, when you find out you've had this breast cancer diagnosis, I know you wasn't this calm. I know you was like, wait a minute, can we test again? Like, what are you talking about? Did it run in your family that you were a little calm about it, or it doesn't run in your family?
So my father's sister, she was diagnosed with breast cancer later on in her life. And that was the only person I knew until my cousin said, oh, on my mom's side of the family, I had an aunt and a cousin, which I didn't know. That's why it's so important to talk to your family about the diagnosis that you have in your family, whatever it could be. It's important to share that information with your family so you're educated. But in the beginning, because I was Dr. Mealing and I read the report myself, and I was like, wait a minute, carcinoma, that was a word that stuck out. I was like, oh no, let me read this again. And I was really shocked. But I thank God that I worked for a neurosurgeon, Dr. Mark Mittler, and he put me in the hands of Dr. Susan Palesci. And within a week, I was like, right now, my main goal is my healing. I'm looking at my healing process. I'm not on Google. I'm not researching. I'm not finding out the who, what, when, and why, and when. I cannot focus on that. I have to focus on my healing and what I need to do to act fast and be proactive. Yes, absorbing everything, it's overwhelming in the beginning, receiving this information. Your life turns into doctor's appointments, but I had such an amazing medical team that just God just ordered my steps, and I just followed through.
Did you get any chemo done because it was like stage 1? Was there
I did. So I had 12 rounds of Taxol and Herceptin, and because I'm HER2 positive, I had to go for once every 3 weeks. I had to have Herceptin for 1 full year. So I have 24 doses of that. But the hard part was the Taxol, because that medication, I had a lot of side effects from it in the beginning.
So, okay. So when you find out you have this diagnosis, is everybody like, okay, we gotta get to this like really quickly? Like there's no time to think. There's no time to like what is when the diagnosis comes, is it you got to have surgery right away? Is it like what is the urgency? Like what happens next?
Well, when you have that diagnosis, once you have all of your tests and you're in the hands of your breast surgeon, they're going to tell you your options. And I went for a second opinion as well. So I just want to hear from 2 different doctors the routes, the different options that I had. And it depends upon, so there's stage 0 through 4. So I was stage 1A. So I could have gone B, which meant I would go for chemo first and then surgery, or I could have gone with A, which I did, was I had my surgery first and then chemo. And that was a decision that I obviously was in prayer about, and I felt comfortable with Dr. Palesci and the regimen that she wanted to take with me, for me, that she felt that would be the best for me. My oncologist was Dr. Yelda Nuri at New York Cancer and Blood. And it's just, God just placed me in the hands of some amazing surgeons and amazing practices, because in the beginning, you're really shocked, but to have all the support that you have, not only from, your family members and your friends and, that side, but also I, immediately had a nutritionist, I had a social worker. I was seeing like all these doctors and all this support, not knowing that I needed it, because I was like, really need all these people. Through NIBRA, we have a support group called the Sisters of Support Patient Empowerment, which we meet online through Zoom. We have lectures, and we also have Sisters of Support. So we get on there, we cry, we laugh, we talk. Everybody's in different points in their journey. And that support group, until this day, I attend, because I feel that it's so important to me, for me, and also for me to help others and let them know how it was for me. Not to say that it's going to be the same, because it's not, but just to encourage them to say that, if God healed me, he can heal you too.
So let everybody know the importance of early prevention.
So I believe that it should start really with young women, especially those who get their period. And I'm talking about, if you're 10 or 11, just looking at their breasts so that they know, the shape as they grow, when they get their period, showing them how to do self breast exams. We shouldn't wait till someone's 35 to say, have you been doing your self breast exams? We should be doing it, even, educating them throughout, school, throughout high school, once, just showing them how to do it themselves, so that if they do feel something, because they're too young for mammograms, but if they do feel something, they can say, wait a minute, this is different. And so that when they become young adults and when they're educated of the importance of getting their mammogram, with the Shannon's law now allows women age 35 and older to get their mammograms. The health insurance does cover it once a year. I thank God for Lydia got checked, because she really pushed forward. My sis Liddy, she really pushed forward for that. And I'm so grateful for what Liddy and Donna have done. They're trailblazers in the breast cancer community.
Yes, they are.
And it's just amazing to see what they have done. And prayerfully, impacting women and educating women about the importance of mammograms, because it's the mammogram that will show whether or not you have breast cancer. Not significant other, not you doing your own self breast exam. Yes, that helps, but it's the mammogram. And now they have like the 3D
one, yeah.
So it's not as painful. But I say to women, if you gave birth, or even if you didn't give birth, if you can, it's your self-care, your moment, your half an hour, you're checking on yourself, and then once you're clear. And then the most important thing is to share with your family members, your friends, and your coworkers. Hey, it's October. Everybody, did you get your mammograms? Let's think about all the pink that we see right now. Let it be a reminder to make sure that you get your mammograms. They're also like the legislator Sela Bynum. So they're having a mammogram van on cancer screenings. It's free mammograms for women age 40 and over. I could share this information with you too. So if you don't have health insurance,
share the location, share everything.
I have the flyer for you. Because this, especially because 1 out of 8 women are going to get breast cancer. And I'm so passionate.
Wait. It's 1 out of 8 now?
1 out of 8. 1 out of 8, according to the American Cancer Society.
Well,
what's
causing? Besides genetics, I remember when my sister got the breast cancer. We had to take the BRCA, and it's not genetics in our family, but it's environmental. And I kept asking, what does that mean? Environmental? What does it mean? And
because there are risk factors.
And Long Island has one of the highest rates and clusters.
Oh yes,
there's like clusters like in Long Island. Like I'm like, what is it? The water? Is it because the LIRR passes through their house? Is it the electrical poles? Like there's like a high rate of cancer in Long Island. Is it because we have cesspools? Like most places have cesspools, and then all those chemicals are going into the dirt? Because that's what environmental means. It's something not from you. It's something like outside of you, like your environment.
And there's risk factors, for women too. Now, I have something from American Cancer Society, which blew my mind. In 2023, 18,780 women in New York will be diagnosed with breast cancer. 41% of African American women die from breast cancer.
How many? What's the percentage?
41%. One of the reasons is because we are not getting our mammograms, and when we do, because we're putting it off, unfortunately, it's later in the stages. That's why it's so important to get your mammograms yearly for early
Yeah, because I just
detection.
told you I do it every 2 years because of insurance purposes. You was like, no, you could get it every year. I didn't even know you could get it every year
Yes.
because
In New York
I would
State, they
definitely.
allow you to have it. It's like a well checkup. I would definitely look into that and then utilize the service that provide the free service. I mean, it's worth
Yeah,
it. Even if
18,000, that is a lot. And you know, like my gynecologist told me it's getting earlier and earlier. She's telling me that she has women in her 20s. She's like,
yes,
she don't know what's going on, but there's like an urgency because she's like, there's women in their 20s that probably don't even do those self checks because they think they're young and vibrant. They're getting breast cancer coming
yes.
in, wouldn't
That's
even know it.
I know, and that's why it's so important for the research, and it's so important for donations because they need the finances to have to do the research to find out what is going on. That's why I'm so passionate. I was walking with American Cancer Society, making strides, Long Island, just because years ago, before my diagnosis, just because I thought it was like it's amazing to be able to raise funds for such a great cause. And that's why I'm so passionate about it because it's nice to have my family, my friends to come and support and to walk, but we need the donations to do the research so that we can find out why it's happening. Like that's why I'm so passionate about it. Like even American Cancer Society, $10 could help. You know, I recently, a few weeks ago, went to the American Cancer Society, the Hope Lodge, which provides free housing for those who are live out of state and who are coming to New York for their medical treatment, and they also provide transportation to and from. So we know how expensive things are. It's from the gracious and generous donations that they're able to help not only for the Hope Lodge, but also free rides to treatment. And we have volunteers who take people to and from their treatment if they don't have the transportation. Imagine you trying to get to your treatment, you don't have the finances to do that, and you don't know where to turn to. The website for American Cancer Society is www.cancer.org. When you are afflicted with anything, it opens up a door of a wealth of information that you never even knew about. And one of the things that I really like, they partnership with a organization that you sign up and you know how you say to someone, you give them updates and you're going, it's 10 people and you're saying the same thing over and over and over again, over and over and over again. No, you just say, I give an update. Going for my surgery, boom, sends the email. So you're not repeating it over and over and over again. It's draining. It's a lot to do it. So I just cannot stress the importance of mammograms for everyone, especially African American and my Latinas. Like it's really important. Really, it could save your life. It saved my life.
Yeah, because I'm wondering why insurance companies, you know, maybe starting in your 20s, just check for it maybe every 5 years starting in your 20s. And then it gets to be more frequent after 35 because think about it. If your first mammogram is at 35, my sister got her breast diagnosis around 28, 29. She didn't even know she had breast cancer. One day her husband and she was a nurse, and her husband's like, your breast is bleeding. And she was like, what? Like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And that's when she went and got checked and she found out she got breast cancer. But she was like, Danny, like, we didn't do mammograms. And she was like, Danny, I felt my breast, but you know, it's weird when you feel your breast sometimes because it feels like it's all lumpy anyway. That
Right,
sometimes you're like, you're just, you know, I know what we have to self-check, and I guess like your breast, you have to know the map of your breast. to understand, like, even you get to familiarize yourself with the lumps and the bumps to the point where you should be checking yourself so much to the point where if there is a bump that comes, you'll be like, wait a minute, that wasn't there before.
And go see your doctor immediately.
Yeah, that's how familiar. I stress that people have to know their breasts, especially if you're younger than 35 years old. You should know the mapping of your breast, how it feels. You should know every bump, lump, and everything. Get those checked out, and then from that point, you have a starting point. So if anything pops up that you feel is differently, that's when you should hopefully have your doctor, your OBGYN, your gyno advocate for you. And sometimes doing a prior authorization to maybe get a mammogram before 35 years old, because that's what my gynecologist has done. And you know what's so crazy? She ended up getting breast cancer.
Wow.
Like,
cancer doesn't care about your race, your age, your height, your weight. Cancer doesn't care. I've met women who have gotten cancer in their 80s. Just cancer doesn't discriminate against anything. It's unfortunate.
And then sometimes I'm wondering, is it the food we're eating now? It just seems like it's more prevalent. Is it the stress that's on our bodies?
It's obesity too.
It's obesity too?
There's a lot of risk factors. I don't have them in front of me, but there are a lot of risk factors that we just have to be mindful of, and then, I'm at the point where I was diagnosed. I went through all of my treatment. At the end of my journey, sometimes I think about it, but I can't dwell on it because it's just a lot to think about when things calm down and you're like, okay, now my life is trying to get back to normal. I don't have all these doctor's appointments. Now what do? I used to be really busy, but it's important that we continue to do the research because, like you said, it's like, where is it coming from? Like, how is it just happening to young women and not being able to have mammograms? And there's even previvors. There's people who decide, my mother may have had it, and I may have the gene, and I don't want to go through any treatments, and they decide to have a mastectomy.
They decide to take their breasts off. I think Angelina Jolie did that. I think she had breast cancer gene in her family, and then she decided to not take the risk of even getting breast cancer. She decided to get a mastectomy, and and some people were like, "What are you doing? You don't even have it yet." But she was like, "The risk of just getting it is worth me just cutting off my breast, take my lymph nodes out, and just be either get your, what do you call it when you get your breast stretched out? Either that or either get
expanders.
Yeah, either get expanders or get the fat from your stomach to rebuild your breast.
Yeah, because they even take it from the thighs too. They take it from the thighs. They take it from your arms, wherever you have that extra fat. They'll take it from. I've met a few women through NIBRA who have used, they didn't have it in their tummy, so they used in their thighs. But I mean, right now, because even after my 2 reconstructive surgeries, I got my areolas tattooed on. I got extra fat to make nipples. And I got my areolas tattooed. NIBRA has Marnie. She does the tattoos right there in the office. And when I look in the mirror, it looks like 2 breasts. I don't think of it any other way. I feel great. It's a visual thing too.
I know it's a visual thing. I just want to tell you that I'm so proud of you, sis. I'm so happy that you are volunteering your time and, and helping people who are currently in your position, and giving them strength and being the advocate for them, mentoring them, and just guiding them through, because this is like, new territory. I am so happy that you are in remission. You're not 5 years yet, but I want to say, to the grace of God, thank you that you are still here and present.
Thank God.
Thank God. And any last messages that you want to leave for women out here, because we're talking about breast cancer. It's October's coming up, and it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Please go for your mammograms. Early detection can save your lives. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast today, Danny. I'm proud of you, sis. I'm proud of you, sis.
Well, I'm proud of you because I know what my sister went through. Like, I wouldn't wish this on any woman. My worst enemy. Having cancer is brutal, and especially breast cancer, because it has to do with your body. And I pray for everybody out there. Please go get checked. Please go get checked. Go get checked. October and beyond, please go get checked, because it will save your life. So not only in October you get checked, I want you to get checked every time you go to gynecologist. Say, hey, gyno, can you check my breasts? Not only hands, but also if you are 35 or older, definitely ask for that mammo, because you can now get it once a year after 35 years old. So I want to thank everybody for joining. I'm proud of you, sis. Please tell your mother, your aunt, your sister, your friend, your teacher, your community, your police officers, your firewoman, whoever you pass by that is a woman. Please make sure you tell them and ask them, have you gotten checked for breast cancer? So thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm proud of you, sis. Danny Benson, thank you. Lexy Mealing for coming, and I will see you next week. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.